Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Evening, James. How's things? I was almost late. Too busy looking at charts on ChartFox. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's get some stats on the screen. There we go. Right, let's jump into the cockpit, shall we? So I feel like tonight is very much unfinished business. I wasn't happy with the last stream. I was kicking myself afterwards. I feel like we were too late into San Francisco and coming in hot and fast into LAX. Not that we had a lot of choice. I really had to get going, which was a bit annoying. So I'm still here. Back again. Going at it for one more time. I did come out to the shed last night and just did some landings just in the 737, just, you know, boff, like one after another. I just feel like I'm not as good in this plane. I'm just, I don't have that feel that you get, that I've built up with the A320, certainly. Hey, Badger. Also, when we put the yoke cam on, when the time is right, you'll notice I've flipped my Airbus side stick and throttles around, so now I'm in a captain's position for Airbus and Boeing, I guess, because now the throttles are to the right of the yoke, which may or may not cause its own set of issues when we come to fly the Airbus on the next stream, because I now have to relearn flying with my left hand, which is going to be a bit weird. We'll get there. Okay, right. It's enough of me getting distracted. Let's see if we can start this thing up. So, batteries on and guarded. Position light is already unsteady, that's good. Let's get the APU on, shall we? It's a funny one to click this. There we go. We should see that EGT gauge start moving. Sounds like you're doing pretty well, James. I mean, if you've only been playing the sim for 3 months and you're already on VATSIM and you're already in the captain's position, I'd say you're doing pretty good. Oh, Europe. Happy birthday, mate. You have a 2-hour flying experience. Nice. So what's that? Is that like going up in a Cessna or something like that? Or is it a sim? Come on, Europe, we need the details. Okay. Let's get these on. So now we're powering the aircraft off of the APU. Happy birthday, Europe, anyway. From all of us. I'm sure I speak for everyone. If anyone's wondering why I'm calling Aviation 23 Europe, it's because the name used to be Europe and now I can't not call them Europe. So that's the reason. Hyper Warrior. I'm not familiar with that plane, but it sounds awesome. That's brilliant. Okay, your dampener. Let's sort out... Ooh, stutter. Let's sort out the fuel before we get too carried away. $6864 required in kilograms, of course, which seems reasonable because again, 33% nearly full. Wind only going a little over an hour, which makes total sense. That's up to you, Europe. Don't do it on my account, but you'll always be Europe to me. Okay, where was I? Fuel. Okay, crossfeed is closed. Let's get the pumps on. These two are most likely going to show low pressure warnings on the centre tanks because there's no fuel in the centre tanks, so that's good. Expected behaviour there. Oh, hey Brian. How's the weather? Absolutely roasting here at the minute. Apparently we're on track for like the hottest weekend that we've had at this time of year or something on record. I don't know. Either way, I'm Googling air conditioning units for the shed because it's getting beyond a joke in here. It really is. I've been in here like what? Quarter of an hour, and it's already saying it's 26 degrees in here. It's like, oh. Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it? I couldn't believe it. I did see in my sort of back end of YouTube, I did see that he subbed a while ago. I was like, huh, how cool is that? And thought nothing more of it. And then obviously, yeah, turns up in the chat. Brilliant. And then says quite often lurks. I must admit I did get a little bit nervous. I was like, oh no, someone who I respect is watching. Ooh. This weekend, but thunderstorms. Yeah, I heard something about storms actually. Wait for the rain to start. Okay, let's get the passenger signs on. Window heat. Good. Get hydraulics A and B on. I am still following a checklist. I feel like I can do the A320 now like off by heart, but this one I still just need that checklist. So if you hear me sort of pause, that's me reading. Let's get these into auto. Isolation valve open. We'll get our AP bleed on. Alright, that's pretty good for now. Oof. Those frames, eh? Alright, let's jump down here and have a look. So we're going to FMC, pause in it, next page, take one of these, if I can click, there it is, in the scratch pad, previous page, back to where we were, Paste that in there. And we go to the route page. We'll do KSFO to KLAS. Activate and execute. Right, what's next? Departures and arrivals. Still haven't really fully decided on that yet. So we're going to use runway 01 left. Just looking at a SID. Because handily, SimBrief has decided just to not give me one. No, not yet, James. I still need to sort that out. I'm being really slack on that, I know. Basically, I've been sorting out, like, tax stuff and business stuff now, because now I've got monetized only in the last few months. I said the last few months, the last, like, month and a bit. Kind of had to register for, like, doing self-assessment tax returns, because, you know, it's like business income, essentially. Self-employed income. So I need to make sure I'm declaring all of it and got myself a little business bank account now and everything like that, so keeping it all separate from like my day-to-day money, so it's easy to hopefully do the tax returns and stuff that I'll need to do. So it's all good fun, but a lot of administrivia has come with becoming monetized. It's all good fun, honest. Alright, so what SIDs do we have? We can use gap 7. Maybe not. Offshore 2. Oh, take us. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go with that. That'll do. Yeah, I figured best not to upset them. Probably not the best move, is it, to upset them lot? Right, why are we going into Vegas? ILS 26 left. So again, no star has been provided on SimBrief, which is strange. Let's see what they recommend. Maybe use Blade 1. That might be the play. Transition in from BCE, maybe? guess we could go PGA, but BCE would be nearer to us. Let's go with that. Alright, let's go to the legs. Let's put this into plan. So we come out of the airport, do a bit of a kink. That'd be quite cool for the yoke cam at least. Do a turn, so step through, bump, bump, bump. Where on earth are we now? Okay. So there's whammy. What does that mean? INTC. I've never seen that before. We do that. Hey, there we go. That's better. That's better. So step through, bump, bump. Mickey, then. Seems like we could maybe skip Mickey. Like that. There we go. Being very efficient tonight. I guess we go BCE from... Bit of a long way round. Down through Hold'em. Into Blade. We might as well go Shand in there. Nice, we got a route. That'll do us nicely. Good. So now we can go init ref and do perf init request. James, you hero. Thank you so much. I'll be sure to report that to HMRC. Thank you though for that, really. Execute. Using reserve fuel? What? I suppose I am going a bit further than necessary. Yeah. Maybe we get rid of Seagull and... Go nettle. Then straight after whammy. Yeah, that saved us loads. We maybe do... I realise this is incredibly not the way to do it. Let's go straight to blade. How's that going to look? Yeah, we've saved loads of time. That's better. 25 miles in to get down to 4,800. Easy. Done. Love it. Okay, N1 limit I'm going to leave alone because I don't really know what I'm doing there still. Flaps 5. 140, 142, 152. What was our cruise? 370. Sure to put that up top here as well in the pressurization panel. Oh, there's a VATSIM event. Cool. Manchester to Turkey. If I get a bit of time at the weekend, I don't know if I will, because I've got a bit of a busy weekend coming up. I might try and do a flight, probably not on stream, just like me, in observer mode. And I'll try and copy someone and just pretend I'm them, just to try and get the hang of it. And then I might do another one, maybe on the Sunday again, if I get time. Maybe something short like Edinburgh Heathrow, something like that. Just to try and get my bearings. I'm going to make loads of mistakes. Certain I'm going to make loads of mistakes. But yeah, I have seen the smoke in New York. I mean, that looks horrendous. And I've been to New York. When was it? In 2013 I went. And I can't imagine it looking like the pictures are showing it. Just, yeah. I did see there was a Diablo 4 advert in Times Square. Obviously the ad was like all red and sort of black. It said like New York City, welcome to hell, and then like the skies were red. But yeah, it's just bad. Am I a fan of the Phoenix? Never flown the Phoenix. Which maybe is a bit of an oversight on my part, but ultimately it's a lot of money. Okay, let's get 370 up here because we are going to be VNAVing it. So whatever constraints we've got, VNAV will obey. Yeah, I should maybe get the Phoenix. Isn't there like a version 2 coming? I might get that when that comes. Right, local pressure. What is it? Not the greatest way to check, but it's quick and you can all see. 3004. It is. Let's get those flight directors on. 1 and 2. What was our V2 speed? 152, so we add 15 to that. Make that 167. Runway heading is 13 degrees. I must admit, James, that engine sound on the Phoenix gets me every time, much like the engine sound on this. Although, I don't know if you've had a chance yet, the latest version of the Headwind A330, that gives me Phoenix vibes, the engine sound on that, it really does. Okay, let's get our auto brakes to RTO, rejected takeoff. And put the brakes on. But get this in standby. And it's time to get the seatbelts on, anti-collision on, put the logo on. And let's get the aircon packs off, because we need to start the engines. So the runway is sort of behind us. Behind us and to the left as we sit here at the gate. So let's see if we can pre-plan a little pushback for ourselves, if this will load. Oh yeah, that'd be a great one for Turkey. That really will. That seems like a very short pushback. It seems really weird at the moment because you've got the Headwind A330. You've got Headwind's new collaboration with PMP to do the CEO version. And you've got Aerosoft doing one as well. So how many do we need? Like, I wonder how that's going to affect Aerosoft. Like, theirs is going to have to be almost PMDG level to really get people away from the free stuff, surely. I mean, I wish them the best. I really do. It seems like we've got an awful lot of A330s all of a sudden. Hey, JD, how you doing? I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Phoenix is good, but PMG is better. More refined, no bugs. Yeah, I guess if you're an Airbus guy, then Phoenix makes total sense. Like I said it once a while ago. I think if there was like a fly-by-wire 737, I would probably have reservations paying the 60 or 70 quid it was for the PMDG. I forget what it was after the currency conversions. But there isn't another decent 737 option, so I bought the PMDG. If the fly-by-wire didn't exist, I'd probably be buying the Phoenix. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. It can add up. It can definitely add up. With two small kiddos to feed, it's kind of like, can't be spending all my money on pretend airplanes and add-on scenery. It's a tricky one. As much as I would love to, I hasten to add. This pushback feels a bit weird. Alright, let's get engine 2 into ground mode. Pushback seems to be going according to plan. Add some fuel. I've never tried DCS. Cost of one aircraft is... how much are you talking, JD? mean, it's funny, I was talking to someone the other day about who doesn't play the sim, and I was talking about, oh yeah, I've got like the add-on 737, and they're like, oh, how much is that? And I think they're expecting me to say like $7.99, $8.99. I was like, oh yeah, $70. They were like, that's a whole game. And you paid that for an item in your game that you've already paid over £100 for the premium deluxe version, because if you want all the add-ons and stuff to work reliably, you kind of have to get that one. And then you start looking at airports, and they can be like 20 quid a go, and man, it adds up. Yeah, you're right, James. Like, I think a lot of the innovations, let's get a parking brake on. A lot of the innovation comes from the community. In a way, a Sobo, I think I see them almost more as like a platform developer, as opposed to a sort of plain developer, if that makes sense. They provide the platform, and then the community can go from there. Obviously, they provide an experience for the more casual player that's really nice, really good, like no complaints there at all. But yeah, so much comes from the community with this game. And I think it's nice that kind of Asobo have allowed that to happen. Because they could have been like, no, Arsim. Only official Asobo add-ons or in-app purchases only. I think they could have done that. They didn't, thankfully. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Right, engines are coming to life. That's good. £65. Yes. For an F-18. I mean, is that what you would call study level at that price? I guess it must be, right? I can kind of see if a developer's going to go study level to recreate something as complex as an airliner to study level. They kind of deserve the £65 at that point, don't they? But to the casual observer, they're like, what? £65 for a plane? Because I think when you say flight sim to a lot of people, when I say to people I play flight sim that don't play it, I think they probably just assume that I'll take off and turn around and just land and just mess around. Don't think they fully get what's going on. It's probably just as well. Oh, that's good news, Badger. That's brilliant. I must admit, I've gone from 4K to 1080p. And I'm not sure if I'm going to stay it. I'm just trialing it at the moment. Okay. So both on. Let's get our taxi light on. Jump up top here and do probe heat. Auto, 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 off. And now running off the engines, that's good. It is now 28.1 degrees in here. Okay, everything's looking good up here. That's looking good. The runway is literally just over there, so we haven't got far to go, thankfully. Right, this is going to be weird. Let's see if the yoke cam works, shall we? Hey, thumbs up. Let's go. So I've switched these two over don't know how well you can see it. It looks a bit dark on my screen. But I used to have my Airbus joystick here and my throttles over here, but I've switched them, so now everything is wrong and my P-brain can't handle it. So let's make our way down. It's a very squiggly taxi line that we're following. What was a head tracker, JD? Because I'm going to be looking at those. I'm going to do a video where I buy the cheapest, most rubbish webcam off of Amazon and see if I can get it to work with some head tracking software. There's a couple, isn't there, that you can get for sort of free or close to no money. Because I do feel like in situations like this, a head tracker would be quite handy. More so on the ground than when you're in the air. Oh, this feels so wrong. Track IR, yeah, that's the one I've been looking at. This feels so wrong. It must be a nightmare if you're an Airbus first officer and then you get promoted. Alright, I'm just going to hold short here. Yeah, that's right, James. So you kind of just get your webcam and you set it up. It gives you some basic head tracking. I figured I'd make a little video out of it. Might help some people. And if it doesn't work, they can just laugh at me failing. Alright, continuous on the engines. What else am I forgetting? Flaps. And this little doobry down here. You're lefty. I wish I was at this. I think it's just muscle memory. I've gotten so used to being over here doing the throttles, and now I'm doing this. I'm like, what is this all about? This does not feel right at all. I'm going to zoom us in just a touch. Okay, let's head on out, shall we? I can already feel that I'm going to idle the throttles too heavily coming into Vegas, and we're going to come down with a bit of a bump. Which also means I'm going to have to fly. When it comes to coming in on final, I'm going to have to fly with my left hand, because normally I'm like this. be like this today. Oh, this is going to be bad. But at least I've got my excuses ready. Okay. We are lined up. Good to go, I think. Alright. Holding it on the brakes. Let the engine stabilise. Yoke forward. To throttle. Click the little screw. Full toga mode.
knots.
80 knots, yoke back. Bit of a bumpy runway here. Get ready to rotate.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Up and away. So we'll fly this first little bit by hand. Not entirely sure we're following it perfectly, but that's okay. Just feet off the rudder pedals, just in case I knock them. What a view. I love that little feature on the ND. You see that kind of little white bar that's sort of curling around the magenta line as I steer the plane. It kind of gives us a sense of where you're going to end up. Almost like those reversing cameras you get in cars, where the little box twists and turns as you turn the wheel. There we go. Don't want to go any steeper than that, otherwise we'll trigger the bank angle call out. Alrighty. It's VNav and LNav. And we'll let the plane take it from here. Let's get the map on for you, albeit it's going to be slightly off. Oh yeah, JD, the C920 is a lovely webcam. That would be perfect for it. Absolutely perfect. Okay, let's get rid of flaps. So this is where we took off from. This one here. No, wait. Here. 01 left, wasn't it? So the closest one to us, despite the fact that now appears to be right. Yeah, my curiosity, JD, is whether I can just buy the cheapest piece of rubbish off of Amazon and have that work. I mean, I'm in quite a dim room as well, which may or may not help. Alright, landing lights off. I think we're all good otherwise. Controller had a hard time with your accent. Yeah, accents are funny things. I spent some time working away in Ireland many years ago now, but yeah, I really struggled. Really struggled. I think there was one point, and they were all great about it. They used to find it hilarious. And I think, looking back on it, maybe they played up to it a little bit. As in, they would speak as quickly and as with as much of a heavy accent as they could muster up. But there was one point where I just had to be like, I'm sorry fellas, you're just going to have to start that whole conversation again because I did not catch a word. I remember saying to them, I was like, can you understand me? Like, because obviously I have a different accent to you, so therefore it would be just as valid for you to not understand me as me having trouble understanding you sometimes. And they said, oh no, we understand you, you just sound like you're from EastEnders. I was like, okay, fine, fair enough. I guess EastEnders is big in Ireland. That's funny. There it is, San Francisco. I remember when we came into land in real life in San Francisco once, we landed, it was either that one or that one, 28 left or 28 right. So we came in all up, came from Vegas, so we kind of came from the Bay Area, or up through the Bay. And I remember there being this incredibly long bridge. Like on final approach, it's like that bridge just... So how have I not heard about this bridge? Like, why do I know everything about the Golden Gate Bridge just because it's red, basically? Like a famous landmark, and there's this incredibly long bridge. Never heard of it. No one's ever mentioned it to me in my life. I'm just curious whether it's going to get rendered in a moment, or whether it's... Because it wasn't very big. It's like very, almost like single carriageway. It looked like. Almost spanning the entire width of this bay. Unless I'm just completely misremembering. Which is possible. Right, standard pressure coming up. This will go... There it is. Now we let the passengers out. That may be it there. Looks like it would maybe join up over here and there. Maybe the sim's just having a hard time. Or is that it? That could be it. Oh, I don't know. So long ago. The Bay Bridge. Because there's another one, isn't there? Another bridge that sort of goes out towards Oakland, I think. Yeah, I don't think it is that one, JD. I think it's a different one. Sort of like here, or like there. But the Bay Bridge would be out here, I think, which connects San Francisco to Oakland over here. That's Oakland Airport, just there, I think. all I think about now when I see the Golden Gate Bridge is just being sunburnt. I was so sunburnt. Unbelievably sunburnt that day. It was just unbelievable. I've never been that badly sunburnt in my life. The thing is, we'd spent like, I don't know, 5 nights in Vegas, and it was like 44, 45, 46 degrees every day we were there. Such that when we went to the Grand Canyon on like the little coach trips that they do, that was like 38 degrees and we commented on how cool it was. Whereas if it's 38 degrees here now, I would be complaining like, oh, it's 38 degrees. Of course, when we get to San Francisco, it's like 23 degrees. It's like, oh, great. No need to worry here, just like normal. How wrong we were. Yeah, it was lovely when we were there too, JD. Really nice place, had a cool vibe. Expensive. I seem to recall for like half the time it cost twice as much as what Vegas was. Then I guess you got competition in Vegas like this, those massive like hotels just everywhere. And they just want to fill those rooms no matter what. So if you thread the needle, you can get a brilliant deal in Vegas. I must admit though, I think we stayed in Vegas maybe 1 or 2 nights too long. I was a bit sick of it towards the end actually. Like a zebra. Oh no. It's like if you don't put your sun cream on properly, you can almost get like finger marks left where you get burnt. Look at that view. I'll never forget in Vegas, sort of came down for breakfast, got out of the lift, or elevator I should say. I saw this advert where for like $100 they would hook you up to an IV drip for an hour, which they claimed cured hangovers. Clint Eastwood bar. I didn't know the Clint Eastwood bar was there. I also went to Fisherman's Wharf and clearly missed that. Is that the place where the seals like constantly, or the sea lions they're just barking constantly? Is that place? I don't know though, like reading on Twitter and stuff, it feels like San Francisco's got a bit of a different vibe about it lately. Like I got a bit of a background in software dev and used to write iPhone apps, that kind of stuff, so I follow a lot of like Apple-y people, a lot of which reside in San Francisco. And one of them the other day, or Tuesday I think, just sat at a cafe on a little outside table using the laptop, and a car just stopped. People got out, ran over, nicked the laptop and off they went. Couldn't believe it. Hog's Head. Yeah, I definitely didn't see that. That sounds great though. It's nice you got to go there with your dad. That's awesome. What do I think of the Vision Pro? Don't know. I mean, I haven't used one, so probably not really fair to say. But first impressions, having not used it, I can't see what I would use it for. At the risk of sounding like a jaded old man, I just can't see what I would use it for. Like, as a piece of hardware, like, amazing. Like, it's just like textbook Apple. Like, the hardware, I'm sure, is a work of art. I'm sure it's technologically, like, academically, just brilliant. The way I look at it is, before the iPhone came out, I knew I really wanted a product that was like what the iPhone was. It just hadn't been made yet. Or been made properly. Going into this, I didn't have that same feeling. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I really want some goggles on my face so I can ... fill in the blank. But, like we were saying about the Sim earlier, Asobo having created this platform, this sandbox, and the third parties fill in the blanks and make it awesome, could be a similar kind of App Store story for the goggles. It could be that a dev makes something that makes me go, of course, that's why I need one. Well, need in air quotes. I just hope that the devs can make enough money from because really the device has to sell in enough volume to attract the developers to make the apps. Otherwise you're going to be in a position where the apps are too much money and they won't sell in volume, but equally the developers can't make them cheap enough to sell in volume if the headset isn't out there in volume. So it could be a bit of a chicken and egg there. I mean, that's one of the major problems with the App Store, I think, is that there's this expectation that everything is it's basically just free. I can't tell you how hard it was to get people to pay 99p for an app. Even when it did what they wanted it to do. It wasn't like you were selling them a load of rubbish they didn't want and that's why they didn't want it. It was like they just did not want to pay. Make it free. Fill it full of ads, make it a piece of junk, then yeah, sure, people will queue up for that. Yeah, same here, James. Same here. I mean, I remember, like, when I was younger, my parents were always like, they wanted me to have a phone on me. Like, when I started going out on my own and stuff, they were like, take your phone, then if you get in trouble, you can ring us. I'd never take it with me. Because I had an MP3 player. And I only had room in my pocket for one of them. So it's like, well, if I'm going to go out, I'd rather have my music than a phone. So it wasn't until the iPhone that they could actually get hold of me. I need to get a new phone, actually. My iPhone 10 has seen better days, let's put it that way. took the words right out of my mouth, JD. Glad we're on the same page. Yeah, watching WWDC on Monday, I was kind of living in hope that maybe my iPhone 10 would be allowed to have iOS 17 when it comes out in September, but no such luck. Been cut off. I guess I'll look at, I don't know, maybe the 15 when it comes out? Like a standard 15, like a not Pro one. It's almost like the ones, like the non-Pro, like the vanilla versions. They're really good. Although that Nothing phone, you seen that phone, the Nothing phone? It's like an Android phone. Oh, James, that's funny. I remember saying the exact same thing when Perfect Dark came out. Buying the little expansion thing, memory expansion, whatever that was, to put in the N64. Now you can run it on a Raspberry Pi in emulation. Just crazy. Right, when's top of descent? Oh, we've got ages yet. $14 non-pro. Yeah, I was looking the other night at the Apple refurb store. They had I'm considering maybe getting like a max or a plus size one, just because every time I've gone to change my phone, I've considered it and then like wussed out basically at the last minute. So I'm kind of like, this time maybe this is my time to get a huge phone. So I was looking at a 13 Pro Max refurbed, and that is the same price as a 14 Plus new. There's nothing wrong with a refurb one from Apple. What it is most of the time is they offer that 14-day, if you don't like it, just give it back to us, we'll give you your money back, which is amazing really, because not many retailers do that. I mean, I know if you buy online, you're covered by the Distance Selling Act, which to some degree gets some of the way there for that. But I mean, as long as you haven't wrecked it, Apple will take it back if you've got the box and everything. But I was looking at their refurb process, and it's really quite incredible. I think basically any part that you can touch, they replace. So you get a new screen, new battery. Essentially, it's only like the logic board, I think, that makes it, and obviously the internal components make it into the new one. The only thing that makes me think maybe a 13 Pro Max is because you get the 120Hz screen. Of course, the non-Pros are 60. So yeah, we'll see. See what September brings. I'll limp along until then. I need a new battery, really, that's the problem, but I don't want to start putting money into this phone if it's already on the way out. Can't grumble though. I mean, what is it? 6 years old? You hear a lot about Apple with planned obsolescence and them forcing you to buy new phones, but 6 years, I've never had 6 years out of a phone. Any phone. I remember when I got the iPhone 4. This is back when I was on like the every 2 years you renew your contract and get a new phone kind of thing, when they were a bit cheaper. I went iPhone 3G. After 2 years I was like, this thing's so slow, get me a new phone, because obviously the OS has upgraded and made it slow. Got the iPhone 4, felt like the fastest thing ever. Fast forward 2 years on a OS version that's 2 years newer. I was like, oh man, this is slow, get me a new phone. Jumped onto the iPhone 5, felt like the fastest thing ever. then you guess it. 2 years later, feels slow as anything. iPhone 6 went a bit longer. I think 3 years that one started to feel a bit weird, which is when I got the iPhone 10. And I think, to your original point, James, about how technology's moved on so much, it's almost like the chips have moved on in that time as well, to the point where now they're just really powerful that unless you're like doing machine learning on it, I think you're basically going to be okay with whatever you've got as long as it's reasonably new at this point. Ignore the mini-map, it doesn't know where we're going. Begs the question why we've even got it on. I would consider Android, actually, Badger. It's just I'm so deep into iOS now, it's almost hard to escape, which is awful when you say it like that. Alright, we're going to go 3800. Yeah, it would be such a faff now to move to Android. I only sort of realised that when I looked at that Nothing phone and thought, wow, that's really cheap. It's only like 300 and something quid. I could just get one of those. And I was like, yeah, but what about your photos? What about your this? What about your that? It's like, ooh, I'll just pay the money and stay. Whoops. ChatGPT for the win. Wasn't there like a paper that was published, and it got like peer reviewed and everything by all the academics, and the paper was like how ChatGPT is going to affect educational institutions, and it's like written by various like professors from different universities that wrote the paper, or claimed to have wrote the paper, because actually after it got peer reviewed they revealed that they just got ChatGPT to write it for them. And it made it through academic peer review, which in a way proved their point way better than any paper they wrote could have. The fact that they fell for it. And it demonstrates the power of it, really, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm exactly the same, James. But, like I say, the AirPods Pro, it's like, they're like the best hi-fi I've ever owned, embedded in my head. Like, I love them. And the fact they'll feed in the sounds from the outside or just totally block them with noise cancellation, they're perfect. Well, they're not perfect, but very close to being perfect. M1 MacBook Air, I don't think I've ever owned a laptop that's so good. And I've owned a lot of laptops. Let's go to that map. Back in 2019, I got the 16-inch MacBook Pro when that came out. And it was like a year later, WWDC, they announced Silicon. Damn it, just spent like almost $3,000 on this laptop. So I sold it, pocketed a load of money, and bought the M1 MacBook Air. And it's like, I've got a machine that feels faster, lasts like 15 hours on battery, and I'm walking away with money in my pocket. It just doesn't seem right. I almost felt bad for the person I sold it to, but chatting to him, he's like, yeah, I understand, I know. It's like, but I'm a singer-songwriter, and yours has got loads of RAM, because I did a build-to-order, put loads of RAM in it. And he's like, I can't afford the brand new ones, and I need loads of RAM, yours has loads of RAM, so great deal for me. I was like, yeah, fair enough. are we from top of descent? Still quite a while. It's further than I remember this. I always think of San Francisco to Vegas as being not far, but kind of is. Nothing's on fire up here, that's always good. Did I leave the APU on? Yeah, I did. It's alright, nothing to see here. Right, in the interest of not having a repeat of Wednesday morning, we've got 150 miles to drop down to 12,000, another 25 to drop another 8, almost 8. 3 miles to drop 1,000. Should be alright. That should be fine. Oh, no worries, James. Take it easy. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for the donation. Honestly, does mean the world, so thank you very much for that. And yes, to the group flight, 100%. Oh, I'm yawning now. Is that Death Valley down there? Looks like it should be Death Valley. I wonder why Simbrief didn't give us a Sid and a star tonight. Slightly odd. I don't know whether that's because maybe as it's free it doesn't have the up-to-date arrivals, maybe? I don't know. Weird. Maybe Navigraph would have done. Hard to say, really. top of descent. A little under 40 miles. So we've got 3,800 in the window, which is kind of our lowest point we're going to get to prior to picking up the glide slope. So the plane should take us down. So you see the next waypoint at Blade. Wants us at 12,000 feet. But we're not going to start descending just yet because we've got 131 miles to get there. And we don't need all of that, basically. So are you paying for Navigraph badge, or is that just the free version? Yeah, I feel like potentially I've chosen the wrong star into Vegas. Aid Navigraph, okay. Yeah, I don't know then. I think I'm going to have to start paying for Navigraph, aren't I? If I want to get onto that sim. It's a borderline necessity, isn't it, really? Top of descent any minute. What we haven't done is looked at the winds. Variable 3 knots. Okay, that should be okay. 29903. There's top of descent. Hear the engines going back. We're going into 26 left, 1115. The ILS tuned, hopefully. So, what's the plan from here? Straight ahead, right turn. Easy. Just hoping we can get a decent landing under our belts. I feel like usually I can get a fairly decent one out of the A320, but the 737 it feels more of a roll of the dice lately. Yeah, I shall get onto Navigraph. What I'm unsure about is how do you get that navigation data into your plane? So I quite often hear people saying, "Oh, make sure your nav data's all up to date." I'm not sure how to do that, because I've never had to. So, any sign of Vegas yet out the window? Not really. Still, seems like we're on track. So for a flaps 30 landing, 149 knots, add on 5 knots for wind correction. So do 154, or as close to that as we can. How are we getting on here? 53 miles until Blade up here, which is when we turn in towards Vegas. We should have maybe have Vegas in the window, or out the window soon. Be it down there, right? Set our landing altitude 200 feet. Airfield is 218 by all accounts. Oh dear. Those have been continuous the whole way. That's not good. And that must be Vegas. Just trying to work out where the airport is. Is that it there? Oh, I don't know, I'm getting lost. Totally lost my bearings. That is it, right? We're almost sort of level with it. Oh, hey, how you doing? You've arrived just in time. Alright, what was it? 299.3, I think, for Vegas. Let me just double check that. Oh, 299.2, it's changed. What's the wind? Oh, it has changed. So what's that? 150 at 7 knots. G20, is that gusts at 20? Oh, okay. Well, that is significantly more interesting than what I thought we were going to get. Okay, so we are well on track for 12,000 feet, which is good news. What are we doing speed-wise? 259, 183. Wow. Yeah, we're going to need some speed brakes, aren't we? For sure. A little bit too soon there. Let's try and start losing some of that speed, because that is going to potentially impact our ability to descend if the plane is trying to descend and lose speed. Handy that we're doing this turn, because that's going to help us a little bit as well. Right, let's do a speed intervention. Slightly concerned about our speed here. Need to get down to 183 by Shand. Actually, we're staying on profile. Can we stay on profile while also gradually nibbling away at that speed? That's the question I've got right now. I guess we'll see. Just thinking. Flaps 5 we can do at 250 knots. Do I do it? Right. Yeah, we're gradually falling. Right, fingers crossed for a nice first time. No go arounds. Easy peasy. There it is, look. We've made it. Almost. There's the airport up ahead. Go auto brake 2 on this one, I think. You can do it. Appreciate it, Badger. Like I say, I've got all my excuses. I've moved my throttle, so that's going to feel different. Then we're going down to 162 for the next waypoint. We'll start doing that now. Basically there. We've only got another like 8 knots to lose. Here we go. Eyes down for full house, yeah? Okay, let's get those flaps extended. not have any wind readout on my ND. Right, yoke cam is back on. Get the rest of those flaps deployed. Engines into continuous. Lights on because I forgot. Speed brakes back. Flaps 30. Alright. What are we at? About 60 on the N1. Alright. Easy does it, eh? Oh, this feels so weird, flying with my left. I don't like it.
1,000.
Let's get that nose down. Oh, this feels horrible. This feels absolutely awful. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. Have you ever tried eating your food
500.
with like knife and fork in the other hand?
400.
It's like that. Oh,
300.
don't like it.
200.
Oh.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Down you go. Well, wasn't horrific. Wow. Woo. Let's go off at the end. Oh, that felt so weird. That felt really, really weird. That really did feel weird. Sorry to keep saying it. That is going to need some practice right there. Really, I should have just gone straight to this setup when I bought the yoke, because I only got the yoke like, what, 3 or 4 months ago? What do I have in mind for Monday's stream? I haven't actually thought that far ahead, actually. So, if you have any ideas, now would be the time. Why does Vegas look like it's melted? ...149 feet per minute, which is good. That was a very smooth landing. Although, again, it felt like the PAPIs and the ILS markers were just completely out of sync there. Because the picture looked terrible on short final, but PAPIs were happy. So it just goes to show, really, be careful with that stuff. Like, trust your eyes more than the instruments, I think. So it can be a bit dodgy. A330, that'd be cool. Especially as we're now flying in the captain's position. I've moved my joystick to the left, throttles to the right. So I'm going to have to learn how to fly all over again. Boston, Miami? That could be fun. Is it inside of 2 hours? If it's inside of 2 hours, I can probably do it. Have I taken a wrong turn? I think I have. Cheers, Badger. Yeah, that was... God, that felt awful. It really felt horrible. Say, it really reminded me one night. My wife said, why don't you just eat left-handed tonight, see if you can do it. I was like, yeah, alright. Oh, it felt awful. It felt just like that. Just like that. Right, let's get that APU on, shall we? I won't have time to do that in that case. That's going to be a bit too long. What would you prefer to see, the Boston part or the Miami part? Because it's feasible, we could do maybe somewhere to Miami. Or likewise somewhere to Boston that's a bit closer. Boston, New York. There's a Boston in New York. What, you mean Boston to New York? That'd make more sense, wouldn't it? Like Boston JFK, that'd be good. Or LaGuardia, or Newark. That could be a nice little stream, that. I'm liking that idea. Obviously we'd probably have to fiddle the time, so we wouldn't be flying it live as such, because it would be pitch black, unless you desperately wanted a night flight, but... That sounds like a plan to me, though. That's a plan. There you go, Monday stream sorted. Boston to New York. I wonder if we could get back as well. Alright, parking brakes. And we will, whoops, run off of the APU. Get those flaps retracted. Yes, we are. Just about made it, Europe. I love that sound. That sound is so cool. Oh, that was such a weird landing. Europe, if you've got the time, scrub back and watch the landing, because landing it left-handed today, because I've moved my throttles to the captain's position as opposed to where they were on the left. So I'm having to fly with my left hand, which was really weird. But I'm going to have to leave it there. Sorry, Europe, no return leg. I am absolutely boiling in this shed. It is now almost 30 degrees in here, and I want nothing more than to get out. I shall be back on Monday. As we just discussed, we're probably going to do Boston to New York, and if we've got time, fly back. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll have the time. Maybe. We'll have to see. But yeah, definitely do the Boston to New York leg. Still undecided as to the airport. Maybe I'll do a poll over the weekend. JFK, LaGuardia, Newark. See where we go. That was a very nice flight. I enjoyed that. Like I say, the landing felt really, really weird. Really, really weird. But I suppose it's going to, isn't it? Until I get used to it. So it must be a nightmare for the Airbus captains. Or when they become captain. You spend so long in that first officer's seat, flying with your right hand. And I guess with a yoke, you've got the option to use both hands in certain phases of the flight. But the Airbus... yeah. Crazy. Oh, cheers, Brian. Have a good night. Do I have Facebook? I've got a Facebook page for Air Not, yeah. Only quite recently, actually. I've got Instagram for it, I've got Facebook, I've got TikTok, and I got this. But this is like where I consider home. The rest of it is just... well, whatever. I'm just doing it because I've been told it's a good idea, to be perfectly honest. Keeping up with the cool kids. Anywho, I'm going to leave it there and get out of this incredibly warm shed and probably start Googling for air conditioners. So until Monday, take it easy, take care of yourselves, and have a good weekend. I'll see you then.